Hello there, I'm Nigel Mill, and this episode, not this episode, this video, I'm about to do something complementary. The other two previous videos were me raging, expressing my frustration and all that stuff, and now I want to give praise to something. So, uh, last year, I bought a controller, this controller right here, the one that you see on screen, this one right here that you see on my cam. This is the uh it's in Japanese, so yeah, I don't know if you will understand, but this is the Flydigi Vader 3 Pro controller. And last year I was looking for a controller that was gonna blow my mind. I had this one, the one that I showed you before, the one that I had on Resident Evil 4 Remake. Remember where this button did not work, and I switched to this button. So at that, when I was working with that controller, I'm like, okay, let me edit some macros and everything. But unfortunately, the big one company software that supports this ceased to work. These buttons, the FN button and the turbo button and every other button setting, it ceased to work audio magically. So at that point, that thing doesn't work anymore. So, uh, okay, sorry about that. If my bird yells loud, is because my grandparents are going today to the church and left Sombra right here with me in my room. That is probably one of the reasons why I won't be recording in the night also. So there's going to be interruptions in the day because, at night I want my bird to sleep, without being interrupted by my voice or my screaming or the lighting. It's very bad for them. So from now on, I think I will record in the day, interruptions and all, unfortunately. But is what it is. So anyways, where was I saying? So okay, so the big one software ceased to work, and the macro attachment ceased to work anymore. So I scoured the internet for hundreds of other controllers that I could replace it with, and every single controller had something wrong with them. Every single controller. Uh, and then ultimately it landed me with the Flydigi controller. And I'm going to sing my praises right now. This is not okay. First of all, this is not an Xbox controller. This is a PC controller. So even better, because the Xbox controller has some limitations with its buttons and with its software. Because with big one, the one that I had, this one, uh, could only uh, set buttons for the Xbox controller buttons only. Flydigi, on the other hand, has a much better software that can allow keyboard inputs, mouse inputs, button inputs. So it is already better than what I had before, and that is why I will sing my praises to Flydigi. Flydigi, amazing controller, by the by. Amazing controller. I have some problems with it, but we'll get to that later. So, first of all, this controller has all the buttons of the Xbox controller, all of them, plus another button here, another button here, and on the back it got its own macro controllers. One button here, one button there, one button there, and one button there. So it's 6 new buttons that you can completely customize with the app that I have right here. So this is Flydigi's app. As I said, this compared to Big One, this is much better because one, you can actually test your things. You can set here the buttons that you want. Example, I want the M1 button to... Oh, it's right here. Oh. Oh. Okay. There you go. Since I am playing Baldur's Gate 3, you know the R3 where you input and you can highlight the objects in the background. When I push the M1, look at that. The R3 is being pushed without me doing anything. So you can customize this controller to insane degrees. You can put, you know, the C button, the Z button, that's new. These are the expanded buttons. You can rearrange your buttons. I don't know why you would do that, but you can rearrange the buttons. It's like having a Steam overlay, controller overlay, but offline. So let's see. If I were to put the M1 as a, let's say, the Helldivers a Helldiver button command, I would put, let's say, down, there you go. That's the arrangement of a I think that's the revive button. Yeah, and I could put it will do it in 70 milliseconds. I put it in 70 milliseconds, and the other one's bang bang. And on the test, you can, when I press the M1 button on the bottom, look, just one finger. There you go. That's the command that is displaying. I'm only pressing one button, and it's doing more commands than just one button. So this is what is amazing about this controller and this software of Flydigi, right? It's because it is very customizable. Example, the example that I said before, that this could input PC commands. I am not kidding. Look. Right there. I could put the M1 as the G button, or I could put the M1 as 5, or I could put M1 as space. So, example, like playing games like Skyrim, where you have many mods that add more functionality to the game but do not have the availability of a controller support. This is the answer to your problems. That's my Fuck the damn laptop disconnecting the mic. Anyways, I don't know when I left, but right here, unfortunately, is one of the bad things. It is giving me an error that I can only have 8 characters. So that's already bad. Like, I want more, characters to specify which profile I'm loading into. And it doesn't help that in the software, I cannot add more. I'm right-clicking and left-clicking. I'm doing all these things, and it only has rename, import, or export. So this is a bad thing about this software. It doesn't make sense that this happens, and that you can't add more configurations and you can't save more with a bigger name. Now, another bad thing about this is that while the keyboard commands work on this, on the button replacement, it does not work as a macro replacement. I'm putting all the keys and it doesn't input it. Razer has its own software for inputting macros for the keyboard, and that works in there, but unfortunately the macro system for the keyboard does not work here. And another bad thing about this software is that once you input commands like X, Y, B, A, you cannot, under any circumstance, delete them. You cannot delete these things. It'll give me an error here if I don't input anything. So there you go. Single buttons like this don't matter. But when you're doing, directionals like this, that's also my bird. So I'm going to push right on the circle pad, on the L3, and look what happens. It inputted a diagonal command to the right. So what would I do if I want to not use this? I can't do anything. I cannot delete that input command. So this software needs those 3 things that I mentioned. It needs more. It needs a way to add more configuration slots. It needs to add more than 8 characters in its saving export of the configuration. It needs to have the functionality of the macro with the keyboard system to work together, and it needs to have a way to delete certain commands on the macro here, where I do not want this right diagonal button input. I only want the right and the center. But unfortunately, I cannot. The only way I can delete it is if I have to be really careful with my inputs. And I mean really careful. And look at that. I was extremely careful, and it's still... There you go. I was super careful that time, but if I want to go right and then go left, it's going to do a whole lot of diagonals. So like boom and boom. Look at that. There are inputs that I do not want here. I only want the right, the center, and the left, and then center. That's all I want. But unfortunately, this program does not allow it. In Razer engine, in Razer software, you can delete it there. You can delete your macros, button inputs that you don't want. So, anywho, those are the only complaints that I have with Flydigi Vader 3. It's ultimately very, very good software, but it needs more work. It needs to be updated to be better. By the way, but this controller is perfect. The only thing that it needs is a better software. That's all it needs. But yeah, this has been a really good change of pace of a video, because now I'm praising, and now I'm happy, I'm happy for something that really works. you know, uh, this costed me about $100. So, but it is a very good controller. don't, I don't know. It says it works on the Nintendo Switch. It says it works on the Nintendo Switch and of course the PC, but I don't know if it works on the Xbox. Probably not, because you need a USB dongle, and PlayStation definitely not working on PlayStation. So, but yeah, if you want a good PC controller, hey, this one is amazing. It has 6 additional buttons. It has a very good software. The only problem that I have with this controller is the D-pad. It's a little bit too floaty, in the original Xbox, in an Xbox controller, you actually feel that each and every directional pad, a button, is separated, and it has its own plastic limiter on the inside and everything. Here, no, this is completely up like this. You see, there is a gap on the D-pad right there. That means it is not plastically secured and have its a very specific directional diagonal commands. Sometimes you will hit up and then diagonal, or hit left and then diagonal, or hit down and diagonal, not the things that you want. So unfortunate. But yeah, this controller, amazing. This is a love letter to Flydigi. Hey, doing great. Make the software better, and fix on your future installments, fix the D-pad, and you'll see it will be the perfect PC controller. Anyways, thank you everybody so much for watching this video, and I hope to see you on the next one.